Dad's dream to talk about his favorite team with the son of digging the stats. Come and join us, nerding on the Dbacks. All right, guys, we're coming to you with an emergency podcast. We just hopped on Montgomery Boulevard, and time for us to discuss the biggest signing of the offseason for the Dbacks.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. So we're just going to hop into this one. I'm Dad.
I'm Son. Did you hear the news?
What?
Did you read the news?
I don't read the news.
Did you look at the news?
Isn't that reading it?
I don't know.
All right. Well, yeah. Tell everybody what happened when I saw the news, though, about Jordan Montgomery.
So we were at the dinner table.
And I was showing you a video of something.
He was showing me Zoolander. If you guys don't know what that is, look it up, I guess. And he was looking at his phone. Me and my mom were talking, and then he goes, "Oh my God!"
I fell off. I almost fell off my chair. I literally hit my surgically repaired knee. It's been so sore all day long because of that. I know there was rumors of them talking to him, but that they signed him just blew me away. And first thing I want to say, shout out to Ken Kendrick, the owner. I was born in Minnesota. We talked a little bit about this. I grew up a Twins fan. Most of my friends that I know, if you ask them who the biggest Twins fan is that they know, they're going to answer me, and just baseball in general, which is not a surprise. I play amateur baseball. And one thing that the Twins have always talked about is when the window is open, we'll make the moves that are necessary to get ourselves into position to win a championship. And there have been a few opportunities that window has looked open, and they have never done it. They keep saying that they're going to do it, and they don't. And now, after living here for a few years and converting to being a Dbacks fan, the Dbacks didn't talk anything about doing this. They just went and did it. That's so feeling. Awesome. They have blown way past any projections of or expectations of what their payroll is going to be for their team roster. And wow, is it fantastic. It's so cool. Do you have anything else to add to that?
I used to just be like, I just hated baseball. When I was back
6, 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, and whenever I would walk into the living room,
you'd play it, but you didn't like watching it.
Yeah, well, yeah. And, like, when I saw it on the TV, I was like, and I was like, football. And my dad was just like, no, we got to watch the Twins. And then look at me now just talking about the best team in the world. Could be
certainly the most impressive. Best offseason. I just, I said it on Twitter, and Ken Kendrick and that ownership group are to be so commended for doing this, for taking, so many owners treat the baseball team that they own like just another asset in their portfolio. These guys make, $1 billion every 5 years from owning a baseball team. And that Kendrick is just seeing the opportunity, because this might be the best, literally 2024 might be the best year for this team to make a serious run in the West and at a championship. The Dodgers are going to get really good again in 2025 and beyond. And 2024 is kind of the chink in their armor as far as a year is concerned. They certainly took a step back this year, and this is the time to make it happen. This is where we can make some magic. So let's talk about Jordan Montgomery. He was the 6th ranked player, and I believe the 5th highest ranked pitcher coming into free agency this offseason, just behind Blake Snell and Aaron Nola. And Yamamoto, I would definitely say Montgomery, Snell, and why am I missing his name all of a sudden? Snell, Montgomery, and Nola are all going to have most likely going to have better 2024 seasons than Yamamoto. Yamamoto is just so young, and that's why he was such a highly ranked free agent. But so Jordan Montgomery, let's see, he put up a 4.3 WAR last year, and a 3.2 ERA, 3.48 the year before, 3.83 the year before. He's basically been a full-time starting pitcher over the last 3 seasons combined. He is rarely hurt. He doesn't throw that hard. We talked about this. He, like so many pitchers in the Diamondbacks rotation, pretty much the entire rotation, the hardest throwing pitcher by average fastball velocity is 93.6 miles per hour. I know that sounds fast, but man, like the vast majority of top end, if you go and look at the top 40 starters in Major League Baseball by projections, I bet 60-70% of them throw over 94 miles per hour, and that the D-backs don't have any guys that throw over 94 miles per hour on average. That's the thing I like about that is that the rotation, because velocity equals higher risk of injury, and so them not throwing super hard is.
Sorry, I'm watching Zach Gallen over there.
We're gonna turn that off.
Sorry.
The velocity generally equals higher risk of injury, and so that we have a softer yet super effective. I didn't go down and break this down, but I bet if you went through and looked at the top, over the last few seasons, if you look at the top 20 pitchers, you will find that all of the guys on that top 20 list who throw under 94 miles per hour, I bet 4 out of the 6 guys on that list pitch for the Diamondbacks now. And they're rarely hurt, just like Merrill Kelly made it through the season last year, made it through the season before. Minimal problems. Eduardo Rodriguez, yes, he missed time, but rarely from injury. I know he's hurt right now, but the thing is they don't get shoulder and elbow injuries. They get things like hamstrings and lats and obliques and all of those soft tissue muscles that you could still pull regardless just because you're playing the sport, but you're so much less likely to blow out an elbow or a shoulder if you're not throwing 95 miles per hour or faster. And so that part's awesome. These guys should all make it through the season with minimal time missed. We're talking Sonny Gray style injuries here, because Sonny Gray doesn't throw that hard. Sonny Gray's hurt a lot, but Sonny Gray's hurt a lot with things like hamstrings and quads and lats and obliques and just those sort of things, just muscle strains, and that sort of stuff is going to happen. But that sort of stuff, those kind of injuries, with the exception of the obliques, those sort of injuries are typically only going to be 2 to 4 week injuries. We're not talking out for the season injuries with all those things. So this is awesome. Super excited. Montgomery absolutely slots in unquestionably when he's in this rotation and everyone's healthy. He is the number 2 pitcher on this team. No doubt about it.
I cannot wait.
He will be game 2 starter. I love me some Merrill Kelly and Eduardo Rodriguez. I actually think the ceiling is probably higher on Rodriguez than it is on even Montgomery. But Montgomery just does it year after year. He was nails in the playoffs in the World Series against the Dbacks. He pitched amazing against the Diamondbacks in the World Series, and so all the way through the playoffs, frankly. And we were just talking on the pod just a couple of days ago how I said when Rodriguez went down. This is why I said they should sign a fifth starter, just a Mike Clevenger or a Michael Lorenzen or someone of that ilk. Like, just go get somebody for $3 to $5 million, get them on the roster to fill that last spot, so at least you have some depth.
I think they're watching our pod.
I think they, I mean, maybe. I feel like Mike Hazen and Ken Kendrick said, "Oh, Mike Clevenger, how about we see your Mike Clevenger, and I'll raise you a Jordan Montgomery," and they showed me. This is not a depth signing. This is an impact signing. This is the biggest signing of the offseason. This is so fantastic. So
So no, the Lourdes Gurriel one was.
Yeah, I mean, that was the most fun one, but this is the most impactful for sure. Jordan Montgomery, he's projected for a 3.1 WAR this season, which I actually think is a little low. So I actually wanted to discuss this. This is part of the reason I wanted to get on. So we went to Fangraphs. They have their pitching rankings out. Who do Fangraphs have ranked as the number one rotation in Major League Baseball?
The Dodgers.
That's right. Here's the crazy thing about this. Yamamoto is projected to have more WAR than either Zach Gallen or Jordan Montgomery. They have Tyler Glasnow getting 146 innings. You know, Tyler Glasnow, I think, is 31 years old. You know what the most innings he's ever thrown in a season is? In one season.
Oh. That would take a long time to count.
Just take a guess.
100.
He's surpassed 100 once, I believe. The most he's ever thrown in a season was 120, which happened last year. And so him getting 146 for the first time in his career would be shocking. That is like it's interesting because Fangraphs is usually, we talked about this too in our over under episode, how Fangraphs is usually pretty conservative in their projections. They really keep everything really towards the middle, right? Just like 50th percentile outcomes for everybody. This is like an 80th percentile outcome for Tyler Glasnow. I do not understand that. He is elite when he pitches, but I just can't see. If he gets 146, yes, the Dodgers are going. Basically, if this distribution of innings, Tyler Glasnow gets 146 innings, most he's ever thrown in a season by quite a bit. Walker Buehler throws 135 innings. If he gets that coming back from Tommy John surgery when he's not even starting the season on the active roster, that's going to be a hell of an accomplishment. I see that as very unlikely. James Paxton getting 110 innings. He hasn't thrown more than 90 innings in the last 5 seasons. I just don't see these guys putting up these kinds of innings. Clayton Kershaw is not even coming back until possibly August. That he's going to get 71 innings is kind of surprising. I just don't see that happening. All of these innings pitched, even Yamamoto getting 184 seems unlikely in his first season. I just don't understand how they project the innings for the Dodgers pitchers. It doesn't make any sense to me. And if you pull that out and you give more starts to, now I do think Bobby Miller is easily going to get 144, and he probably surpassed that. But I think you're putting a lot more starts on Gavin Stone and probably even Ryan Yarbrough to a lesser extent that I don't think are accounted for in these projections. And I do not see them. Maybe they're even with the D-backs as far as pitching starting rotation is concerned, but they're definitely not number one in the league. That said, the Braves and Phillies absolutely deserve to be number 1 and 2 in the league. Those guys are fantastic. The D-backs have nobody on the level of Zach Wheeler. Probably not even Aaron Nola, as much as I love Zach Gallen, not from like a just reliability standpoint. Spencer Strider, Max Fried, Chris Sale, these guys are elite pitchers when they are out on the mound and healthy. Chris Sale's probably heading to the Hall of Fame one year. Strider's the odds-on favorite for the Cy Young. Zach Wheeler has already won a Cy Young and was like 3rd last year in the voting. So Aaron Nola is up and down. So maybe, but I mean, man, that said, these guys have just got the deepest rotation. They may not have the best number 1. They may not have the best number 2, but they absolutely have the best number 3, 4, and 5 guys in the rotation in probably all of Major League Baseball. It's really impressive. The only argument I think would be the Mariners. The Mariners have a sick, deep rotation, too. They're actually built so remarkably similar with Luis Castillo and George Kirby at the top. Now you got Zach Gallen and Jordan Montgomery. That's nearly as good as Castillo and Kirby. It's pretty awesome.
How would you switch this list if you let's say Fangraphs hired you? How would you switch this list?
I would reduce innings for Yamamoto. I'm good with his results. I would reduce innings for Tyler Glasnow, Walker Buehler, James Paxton, Clayton Kershaw. That's probably about 100 innings between all these guys that I'm pulling off, and I'm distributing about 60 more innings to Gavin Stone, and probably about 80 more innings to Gavin Stone, and he's okay. He's a fine, solid number 4 starter, and if that's all they need him to be, that's fine. You know, the thing is, these guys are great, like, when they're healthy. Glasnow, Paxton, Kershaw, but honestly, like, I would be surprised if they get 250 innings between the 3 of them, and they've got them projected for more than 300 innings right now, which is just mind-blowing to me.
So pitchers get injured.
And they've already got 3 guys starting the season on the injured list. And the two of the guys that are healthy right now are just absolute, some of the most injury-prone pitchers in the league. They're great when they're healthy, but they are hurt constantly. So, health is on the D-backs side. I would definitely put Phillies number 1, Braves number 2. Yes, when the Dodgers are healthy throughout the whole season, I could make I could see where you would put the Dodgers as the number 3 starting rotation ahead of the Diamondbacks. I'm perfectly fine with saying that. They are probably ahead of the D-backs if they're all healthy. I'm not even like a Braves or Phillies bobo, but I'm realistic about what these teams can do. And sure, the Braves don't have the depth of the Dodgers or the Phillies, but the Dodgers need that depth. They're going to be hurt. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if they end up turning to Ryan Yarbrough for something like 10 starts this year, 12 starts. It would not surprise me at all. I don't think it would surprise anybody. So, or Michael Grove is just, I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm very surprised by the Dodgers projections for their starting rotation. But it's not a Dodgers show. It's a D-backs show. The D-backs now got Gallen and Montgomery, followed up by Kelly, Rodriguez, and Fott taking up the rear. And I would even say, like I said, Rodriguez has some really, really wild outcomes in his season. He followed up a 4.74 season in 2021 where he pitched 150 innings with a 4.05 ERA and then a 3.30 ERA last year. I mean, he's just all over the place. No surprise. A lot of his inflated ERAs, if people look at ERAs, are coming in Boston. As we've discussed, Boston has got a very high offensive friendly stadium, right?
How'd he get injured?
It's a good question. He's really only had one serious injury in his career, and that was in No, he actually hasn't. He hasn't really been hurt much at all over the last. He's soft muscle tissue stuff though. Like I said, like he's got a strained lat right now, right? That's the kind of thing that these guys are going to get injuries from, is just strained muscles. That's going to have them on the shelf for 2 to 4 weeks, and then they're going to come back, and they're not going to likely be lingering injuries that continue to cause problems. So that said, with the exception of 2022, where he was having a lot of personal issues and he took time off for about half the season to address those personal issues, he pitched terribly in that season, and it's not a surprise. Outside of that, his FIPS every season have been under 4, and dramatically under 4 in quite a few of them. I would not be surprised, like I said, when he pitches, he's probably the 3rd best pitcher on this team, and his upside is certainly higher than that of Merrill Kelly's. And I don't think it would be any surprise. Everyone's healthy. They go into the playoffs, and it's Zach Allen pitching game 1, Jordan Montgomery pitching game 2, Eduardo Rodriguez pitching game 3, and Merrill Kelly pitching game 4.
If he's healthy.
Yeah, if they're all, that's what I said, if they're all healthy. And if they're not, you got Brandon Pfaadt, and you've got to did something crazy in the offseason and looks amazing, Ryan Nelson as your 6th starter. That kind of depth is so necessary for most teams, and it may not be even all that necessary for this team with the kind of pitchers that they have. So Nelson probably, just because of the way pitching works, I bet Nelson still, even though as he's the 6th starter this year, 6 starters for most teams are still getting 20 to 25 starts most seasons. It's the way it goes in Major League Baseball. Pitchers break. Have you heard me say that before?
Yes.
Yeah, pitchers break. So Jordan Montgomery, though, could not be more bullish. You know, it's kind of funny because you look at the careers of Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell, right? They were the 2 kind of big free agent pitchers because Nola, while he was a free agent coming into the season, the Phillies re-signed him like the day after the World Series. So he never really talked to any other teams. We never got to see what his market was like. And Yamamoto's never pitched here. So really it was Snell and Montgomery were kind of the 2 top pitchers that were really being shopped around that have a history. And they're about the same age. And they have produced essentially the same level of run prevention over the last few years of their career, right? But the way that they get to that run prevention is so dramatically different. They could not be more different. The value that they provide is about equal, but the way that they provide it is so different. Blake Snell, he strikes out or walks just about every hitter that comes to the plate. He barely ever gives up hits, but he strikes out and walks just about everyone. And he runs up his pitch count really fast, and he's often just going 5 innings or so, maybe 6, and he's out of there. Jordan Montgomery, on the other hand, he barely walks anybody, and he barely strikes anybody out. He just induces a lot of what's called weak contact, so a lot of ground balls, just poorly struck ground balls to your infielders, and that's how he gets all his outs. And because of that, he can often pitch 6, 7 innings. And effectively, and like I said, lower velocity means lower risk of breaking. So it's cool. This is such an exciting development. I can't wait for opening day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We're going.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be there. We're bringing the whole fam. Even the little man's going to be there with us. So
meet us there.
That's
please.
Right. If you are going to be at the game, and actually we're probably going to put out one more pod here before the game. We're going to try anyway. We got to get our did you really just say that?
Yeah.
Predictions for opening day in there. So we'll probably record a pod and get that out tomorrow. Otherwise, do you have anything to say to the beautiful people on the other side of the camera, Phoenix?
Well, I just hope you have a good day and stay nerdy, I guess.
Stay nerdy and slithery.
And Dbacky.
Yeah, so go Dbacks. Let us know if you're going to be at the game. We'll we'll wave to you in your section, and maybe even if you want to meet up, we could do that as well. So with that. Please like, comment, share, and
first of all, wait, you already said it.
Oh,
dang it!
Like, comment, subscribe, and
share.
Yeah.
Get your inner kindergartner.
Yeah, channel that inner kindergartner. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate you.
Kindergartner. It's so hard to say. Kindergartner. Kindergartner.